Hi, everybody. I'm real excited today. I get a return guest on our podcast today, Angie Hibben, IOM, President and CEO of the Oswego Area Chamber of Commerce in Oswego, Illinois. And the last time that I was with Angie, I had technical malfunction going on, and she was so kind and patient with me. Maybe it's because she's married to IT, or maybe because she understands I didn't know what I was doing and she felt sorry for me. Either way, hi, Angie,
Good morning.
and thank you for coming back together. There's a lot going on out there right now, and
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to bring you back on because you're a seasoned veteran in the Chamber of Commerce world and other nonprofits throughout your career. But there's some stuff that's going on now I want to talk to you about. But first, I have to do some rapid fire questions with you so
Okay.
people get to know you a little bit better. Ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
Car or truck?
Ooh, truck. I'm a truck girl.
Me too. Pink or purple?
Pink.
Me too. Maybe that's why we get along so well. Tennis shoes or flip flops?
Ooh. Flip flops.
Yeah, me too. That's why my feet look like flip flops. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
All right, we're a little. I'm allergic to cats.
But
Um,
my husband. and
is
we
it?
and we have two.
I walk into a house with a cat and I'm just choo choo choo, and they're like, "Oh, well, you could take Benadryl." I said, "Why the hell would I take Benadryl to come visit you? You know,
Yeah.
come to my house. We're cat free." Okay. There was I have a good friend who is a state legislator, and she has a PhD in civil engineering out of Minnesota. Brilliant woman, Barbara Russo. I got to get her on one day. She's fascinating. She's Finnish. She weaves. She's like a pioneer woman. I'm so not worthy. But she sends me information from time to time on nonprofits because she works with nonprofits herself. Now, I don't know if you've read this yet, but this is alarming. A federal grand jury has indicted former Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce president and CEO Jonathan Weinhagen on charges of stealing $200,000 from the organization, including $30,000 that the chamber put up as a reward money for the shootings of three children in 2021.
Oh my goodness.
He has charges of wire fraud, mail fraud, attempted bank fraud, and making a false statement in a loan application. He has an unsecured $25,000 bond. I mean, that's just one story. And every time a story like that comes out, people start to say, well, all chambers are like that. All chamber people are like that. It makes the rest of the good chambers, like yours, say, no, we're not. But that's what happens. It's like, all of a sudden the chamber people are linked into this world of fraud, and that's not true. So I want to set the record straight today
Mm-hmm.
because I've been hearing scuttlebutt about this and I don't like it. And I'm like, this is what I got to talk to Angie about because she's highly educated in the chamber world and she understands how to run a chamber effectively. And a chamber of commerce, for those of you that don't know, is a 501c6, which means it's a member organization. And members have the ability to vote on the board of directors. Members have to vote to dissolve the organization. And that's where a lot of them get hung up. And I'll tell you about that in a second. But there's a lot of say that the members can have and influence over a chamber board, if it's within reason. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes. Yeah.
And that your bylaws are probably your most important governing document. Who, what, why,
Definitely.
when, where, how. I just told Angie a story of what's going on with another chamber that is probably going to lose their nonprofit status because they didn't do bylaws. And I still don't understand how that went through the state. but okay. Because if you cut and paste off the internet to get your bylaws, and we both know, Angie, people do that,
Yes, they do.
you can't read them
Nope.
because it's corporate bylaws and they're talking about stockholders and shareholders like Wisconsin bylaws have. And because everything up there is a stockholder because it all had to do with beef, with cattle.
Um,
Yeah, I had to learn all of that about Wisconsin because when I started working with people in Wisconsin, I didn't have any idea. I'm like, why is this stockholder thing in here all the time? Isn't that cattle? My grandpa was a farmer. I mean, he talked about stock and stock shares and stock, and I'm like, that's cows.
yes, it is.
I said, are you setting up your nonprofit to help cows? Well, no. I go, well, then we don't want to use that terminology. I mean, it's just like, make it make sense to me. So, chambers have intrinsic responsibilities to their members.
Yes.
And when somebody like this dude, who allegedly is in trouble, we have to say that because he's been federally indicted, but yet a grand jury has indicted him, but he hasn't gone to trial yet. So we have to say allegedly at this point, but it sure doesn't look good. And I read three different accountings on this. I started getting emails from from chamber people that I've been working with, scared. Are they going to look at us like that? I said, that has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
And my second question was, are you embezzling? Well, no. I go, then I don't know what you have to worry about. Well, my members are going to see this story. And I said, yeah, but that happens all the time. You see a story of a mother abusing a child. That doesn't mean every mother abuses a child. People are putting things, Angie, in a silo,
Yes, they are.
and they're
Yes.
having trouble looking outside that silo. So tell me, why is a chamber of commerce important to not just the members, but to the community in which you serve? And you serve many communities because your area, which I still think you and I are going to battle about you going regional because I really think you should, because you don't have a regional entity now because Aurora's lost her damn mind. So you don't have a regional entity. And you're probably the most trained and experienced leader in that whole Fox Valley area.
Yeah, I don't know of any other of our execs that have their IOMs from this area.
And IOM, for everybody's information, is Institute of Management. It's a 4-year course scenario for chamber leaders and economic development people go. I attended IOM at Notre Dame. And so, and I always had issue with some of the stuff at IOM because they don't do any further classification once you're done because everything changes. You still have to do that. Angie still has to learn about anything new that's coming out because it matters to her, not only her chamber itself, but it matters to all the people in which she serves. Why is it important, Angie, that we have chambers of commerce and we run them the way you run your chamber?
Because we advocate for the business. We are sometimes the voice. We are sometimes, as I am sometimes called, the pit bull who goes to battle with the state legislators, the municipalities, when they're making rules or things that are going to grossly affect the business community, negatively. We also go to battle to help make changes for good, and also the reverse, to explain to our businesses why these things are happening. Why? Because everybody reads and interprets what they want to read and interpret. And if they feel attacked, or they feel like this is going to negatively, or they're just reading what is on Facebook
Mm, mm,
and what somebody else has interpreted, it's not the true story. I mean, I'm actually going to go visit with our village administrator, one of our businesses, because they're going to be making major street and landscape improvements to the area, that the street that they are on. This business thinks they're trying to get rid of them. They are not. And so he's like, can you come with me to help talk. Of course I will, because these street improvements are going to be amazing. It's only going to create what is going on that street's going to create more traffic by their business, which is exposure they don't have to pay for.
Yeah. So are they worried about the short run when it comes to all the construction too? Is that it?
No, they think that the village is making these improvements to make them sell their business and get out,
Well,
because they change the classifications in our downtown. So construction companies, manufacturing companies, car repair shops, body shops can no longer be in the downtown area. Well, that they're not saying the ones that are currently existing have to leave, but there's been a couple of people who have left and have said the village forced them out, which is not true at all. They want the downtown to be a shopping restaurant district.
mhm.
And so when that person goes to sell their business, somebody can't buy it to be this, another mechanic or construction. It's going to have to be a totally different entity.
Yeah.
But they're not saying she has to leave today.
Well, and they're recreating their downtown. I mean, a lot of places are doing that. I mean, Galena is kind of the leader when it
Oh,
comes
yeah.
to downtown, right? I mean,
Yep.
one of my favorite places on earth is Galena, Illinois. But Ottawa, Illinois, my hometown, has a great downtown.
Yeah.
And they've tried to keep that purpose for shopping experiences.
Yeah. People want to
Because
eat, shop, and play, is what we say in our downtown. Come
yeah, and
eat, shop, and
I love your downtown already. Are you talking the whole, is that Montgomery Road? What road are we talking?
Route 34 dissects our downtown right
Yeah,
now. So we have 34 Main Street, Harrison Street, Adams
Yeah.
Street. We're on the right on the northern. Well, I'm horrible with directions. I think we're the eastern edge.
I think you're the eastern edge. I'm not
We're
much
on
better
the
with
very.
directions. We'd be terrible on a road trip together.
I'm okay with a map, but I tell people how to get places by. So you're going to go to this road. There's a red barn on the corner, and
Yes, yes,
but I was raised out
yes.
near Galena. There
Right.
are not there's not a lot of street signs out in the boondocks of
No.
Galena. You go 5 miles and there's a red barn and you take a right.
You go 5 miles and you're in Wisconsin. You go 5 more miles, you're in Iowa. And I'm like,
Yeah,
where the hell I am. I got lost many times when I was there working with their chamber. And I
yeah,
just kept driving, going, eventually I'm going to get to something that doesn't have cows and hay bales. But it's a beautiful. And
it is.
I think a lot of places are starting to understand the power of what a downtown can actually be again. Because for so many years, people were like, oh, we go to malls. We go to malls. Well, the downtown, like you said, it's
It's
warm, it's inviting.
better customer service, more unique items, not necessarily something you're going to find in the next town over,
Right.
but and these are individual people who live in the community that own the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So their kids are going to school with your kids. They're sponsoring your kids' sports teams, clubs. They're donating to your kids' fundraisers. They've got a vested interest in the community. Nothing wrong with corporate America, but they don't have that. They're not owned by somebody who lives and breathes in the community.
No, no, and you're absolutely right. So, and that's just one instance. You're going to support your member
Yeah,
and which is what you should be doing. And so there's other things that you do that people don't see, that you do. And it's not just all the events and the festivals and stuff that you do, which is hard work. I've been doing that for a long time, Angie, and it's hard work. Even getting a golf outing to work right now can be
oh,
difficult work.
weather,
Weather, you have no control over the weather. I mean, it's just like you have no control over the weather.
weather.
I had a Riverfest once and a tornado went through it down
Oh,
in, and we were just hiding underneath this bridge. And I'm just like, are the beer vendors open? Because I think I'm going to have to go over and get a couple more of those because I'm watching my porta potties blow away.
oh yeah, no.
My ice chest end up in the Illinois River. And it was just like,
Yeah.
And after it was all done, we cleaned up and we kept going. And people were like, well, do I get my ticket money back? And I said, do I look like God to you? Do you think I just did this tornado? I have dirt up my nose. Shut up, go have a drink and be happy. I mean, you get to the point you just want to tell people, shut up.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
call
But
the police this weekend. Keep that guy away from me because the next time he comes and yells at me, I'm going to slug him.
yeah, well,
And the
and
cop looked at me and went, "You're not." And the one police officer knows me, and she goes, "Yeah, he was just being a jerk."
yeah, thank God for the police during our events. I mean, I don't think people know how important they really are to help keep the peace and to keep people like you and me from like, throat punching people that need to be quiet. And if you don't want to be there, don't be there. But chambers do so much more. I mean, they will help people. I mean, I used to have people send me their marketing stuff. Does this make sense? Do you see any
Mm-hmm.
typos?
Yep.
Things like that, right?
We've definitely looked at flyers. We've definitely consulted on, people come in. We're thinking about this event. We're thinking about doing this. We're thinking about trying this. What do you think? We've sat here and listened to, I've had members crying in my office and not necessarily about business. Sometimes it's personal things because they become our friends.
Yes.
We've had businesses say, how do we handle this? What do we do? Um, we're part counselor. We should have that counselor tag on the back of us.
Yeah.
But we celebrate their successes. We celebrate their family things. They have a new baby. They've got a son or daughter. My saying is your job and your family comes first before all chamber events.
Mhm.
It does, that is, people are like, I'm sorry, haven't been at events in a couple of weeks. My mom's been sick. Okay. She's your mom.
Mhm.
She's your dad.
Mhm.
They're your parent. They're your child. That comes first. Um,
Mhm.
I'm very, my husband, and I'm very empathetic. My husband tells me that. I was literally all last week doubled over in pain in the middle of the night because this event that I do is so big and gets me all worked up. And I want to make sure it's good and I want to make sure nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets, everything goes well. Gee, guess what? Last night, didn't wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, doubled over in pain because the event is over.
It happens. I don't think people realize that we panic over those things.
Mm-hmm. I have a chamber member who said, "This job is killing you." I said, "There are times.
There are times.
There
There
are,
are absolutely times.
but that's not, that's just me. I'm very empathetic. I was going through my husband retiring this year. I had a lot of stress with that. And, when's he going to retire? What's he going to do? The stress he was under. And sometimes I wish I wasn't so empathetic.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't, I wouldn't care about my members. I wouldn't care about this job. I wouldn't want things to go well.
Well, you wouldn't be Angie. And that's why people are drawn to you in your chamber because of you. You can bring them in the door, and once they sit and talk to you, then it's a no-brainer to be a member. And if the village were trying to control people by moving them out without their say, that would be a federal violation of antitrust. They're not doing that.
No, they're trying to make improvements to our downtown. They want our downtown to be lively and beautiful and full of people and the businesses to be successful because, even though it's 2025 and it's been 5 years since 5.5 years since we shut down for COVID, businesses are still hurting. Unfortunately, people got used to shopping Amazon and shopping Kohl's online and Target online and groceries being delivered to their homes and that ease of just going on click, 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 put your credit card in and stuff comes to you.
Mhm.
And, the small town businesses are struggling. It's been a rough year.
Yeah, it
And
has
every 4 years, it gets crazy when there's an election.
always.
And it's still crazy. I thought it was going to get better, but it's still crazy. People are fearful.
They're very fearful. I mean, just and the grant situation, Angie, a day doesn't go by that I don't get a very sad call from a nonprofit that I've been working with or have worked with in the past, or maybe I don't even know, that have had their funding cut. Um, and I'm trying to help them revamp their budget, you know, and find other available ways for them to bring in funds to help. I think United Way is the best at bringing in funds during a troubling period.
But even they're struggling.
They are. Not all of them are
It's
doing. And
It's a
they're doing more in events because they have to.
Yeah, our Fox Valley United Way is that's an old model and it's not raising the money it used to raise.
No, Batavia and Ottawa, Eastern LaSalle County are doing, and Grundy County um, are doing really good jobs, but there's some that are faltering. Uh,
Yeah.
and that makes me sad because what United Way does is they support other nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, oh, that's not what they do. I go, that is exactly what they do. You don't stop in there and get a gas card. You don't stop in there and get a food voucher. That's more Red Cross than it is United Way. So I've been trying to do more work on United Ways to show people this is why you donate to United. If you have no one else to donate to that you can't think of during the year, donate to your local United Way.
Yeah, and United Way will hook you up with the organizations that can get you the gas cards and get you the food
Yes.
vouchers and tell you where to go and
Right. But that's not a Chamber of Commerce's job. And I want to get that record out there and set it straight because some people think, oh, well, they should be giving money back because, they're a nonprofit. And I said, well, C6 isn't charitable.
no.
It's a member organization. I said, and if you want to look at who should be giving back, Sam's Club and Costco are 501c3s. Do they give back?
Well, I didn't know Sam's Club and Costco's are 501. How did they get to be 501c3s?
I don't know.
Because they've always registered it. They have never registered as a non-for-profit member in our chamber.
Well, their corporate structure is.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And I still have to pay member dollars. I said, so you're a C6, you're a member organization. Well, no, we're a business. I go, yeah, yeah, you don't get it because you just work here. I understand. So C3s and C6s, we still have to have good C3s and C6s, and we have to have C6s. Now, I've got another case starting in Texas. The first time I've ever worked with anybody in Texas.
Texas is the Wild West.
Let me tell you, I did some partying in Dallas.
I've got a daughter who lives in Houston. We're going there Thursday.
Are you? Yeah,
Yep.
it's I've got family in Texas, but I did some major partying in the late 70s with some Dallas Cowboy players. Randy White was one of them. It was the biggest dude I'd ever seen in my life. And anyway, that was a lot of fun. So that was like my whole thing on Texas. But I got this call, and I'm calling him Texas Teddy because, you and I keep things confidential. We don't
Yeah.
give names and that kind of stuff because that's part of our responsibility of having certification. But they have two board members who are creating havoc.
Hey.
And one of them is a 34-year-old who designs custom jewelry. And
Okay.
her jewelry is beautiful. You're an artist, and that's an art.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience to do, I just would rather buy it from you than try to do it on my own. And the 32-year-old is a graphic designer who knows everything, Angie. And she's the one that called me last Friday morning at 1:45 in the morning and left me a voicemail that said, my mother said I don't need to talk to you.
A 32-year-old said my mother says I don't need. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I talked to the chair of the board, and I said, we seem to have some issues here with some younger females on your board. And she said, oy vey. But I also found out, Angie, they don't do any board development. No board onboarding, no orientation, don't sign legal policies. Their bylaws are woefully outdated. They didn't have any way to escape those new board members, to remove them from the board due to whatever, and so if you're talking to a board of directors, and hopefully someday you get into the training field, because I'd like to retire too, Angie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like you to get into that field, please. I've been bugging Norma Lansing, going, "Come on!" And is the first thing you say to them, "You must do board orientation"?
We sit down and we have a conversation, yeah, before they even get on the board. Here's what's expected of you. Here's what a board's duty are. Um, Here's, while we don't expect you to be at every event, we would like to see you at as many as possible. You are not to micromanage me or my staff. You will get monthly reports. The nice thing being a small chamber is I know most of the board members, and before they even get on the board, they don't get to get on the board just because they joined the chamber. They have to put their time in. They have to be an active member. They have to be a positive member. They have to be involved in committees or leads groups. It's not just, well, I want to be on the board. um, and if they're a problem child, I make sure that I have enough people they don't get on,
Yeah.
to be quite honest.
I love the interview process. I love the board application process. I love the opportunity for more than one person to actually interview them, and to do all of that ahead of time and to sign those legal documents and to make sure that they understand what the bylaws state. And otherwise, aren't you just setting them up to fail?
Yeah, unfortunately though, it does happen. We had one recently who's our is no longer, they're past, they were on the board, who thought they were great, thought they were active, thought they were, till they got on the board. First board meeting, the two of us were screaming at each other.
Oh boy.
Um, you know, didn't like that I'm a woman in charge, doesn't like women in charge. We finally came to an agreement. Got along really well until the last couple of months, and then went off the deep end again. Thank goodness they're, no longer on the board, but it was a little ugly for a while. So, it's the same in any organization. You get somebody you think is great, and then when they actually get into that little bit of power, the true colors come out.
Yeah, a little personal agenda thing going on there.
Yeah, I hate personal agendas.
I do too. I do too, and they have no place on a board. You and I know that. You've dealt with enough boards now in your career to know that you can spot them. It's like, you know, there's almost egg running down their face because you look at them and go, "Oh, that's a personal agenda that's going to be a problem right there." And that's why I like several people to interview
Mm-hmm.
before they ever sit on the board because, like you said, you give people that have never had any kind of power, you give them power, they're either going to handle it and buck up to it and keep that power, for the organization, or they're going to start snipping around. Oh, you can ask me anything about the chamber. Oh, you want to know about their financial policies? Sure. Let me tell you about what's going on financially. And I have seen that.
Oh, yep. You need those people that have your back.
And it just because too much information outside of context to a membership group is too much information out of context.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand the profit and loss or the budget things that have to happen and why it's that way. I mean, when you're doing a budget, you have to foresee a year or two out to try to figure out what's inflation going to be like, what is our retention rate going to be like, is it a plus or minus? Businesses have natural attrition. They're going to close. And as much as it hurts you, you
Yes.
you can't always stop it. But it does hurt a chamber leader like you when you see a business close that you've worked with, but it could be like you said, mom or dad got sick, husband or wife got sick, children got sick. In many cases, it's military moves. There's so many military families that, are in flux all the time, that it makes it very difficult to try to run a business
Yes.
when you're doing that. And I think that's why we have more home-based businesses now, because the cost is considerably less. Now, customer service training. Do you guys do at your chamber customer service training for
We Yeah, we have done brought people in to talk about customer service, done seminars, just the importance. Our
More than
downtown
ever.
our downtown does a great job at customer service, because I think that's the other thing. They care. They're invested. It's their retirement that's on the line if people don't come in because they got bad customer service.
Yeah, you have a bad attitude. Don't think that person's going to come back because they have a choice.
Yeah, they'll go to the corporate stores.
Well, it's not loyalty anymore
Yeah.
because, we used to have a whole bunch of loyalty when it come to products or places and very little do I have that kind of loyalty anymore. I mean, I don't even use the same face cream. I don't use the same jeweler. I don't use the same hairdresser because the loyalty is different. If we get strong women like you and I, Angie, if we have a bad experience one time, we're probably not going to go back.
Yes, sir. I try to give people two or three chances, but
If
three
they're a
times,
member, I'll give them. But I used to stop those members too and say, "Whoa, what I just witnessed is going to cost you customers, and let me tell you
oh,
why."
I've told them quietly, yeah.
Me
You
too.
know, some things have happened. Hey, FYI, did you know your staff was saying this? I've had that conversation, and they went, because it was on a night where they had an assistant manager there, a slower earlier in the weeknight or something. And owners of businesses need days off too,
Oh, yeah.
and they need to be able to trust their staff.
Yes.
And so it's hard. I've been there where I've had to manage staff, and they're like, well, my daughters worked for me, and I was harder on my daughters than I was the rest of the staff, but they got it. They understood. They had to be the examples.
There's
And
really not a business out there that doesn't have customer of some kind. I mean, people say, "Well, I don't have to have good customer service because I work from home." I go, "No, you have to have almost better."
you have to be able to talk to them on the phone. You have to
You,
answer emails. My pet peeve: don't answer emails. Don't answer
oh,
text.
Angie, please. That makes me, I lose my crap when somebody doesn't email me back. I mean, there was a chamber locally, not too far from you, that wanted a price for me to bring in the nonprofit academy into their chamber.
Mm-hmm.
I had trained teachers ready to go, people much smarter than me. And I gave them a price and I thought I was good. I said, now anything over that price is yours.
Oh, okay. I
You
see what
know, this is the price to get the teachers. We're going to have three in person and we're going to have three via Zoom, which you can have up on a screen.
yeah.
But I said there'll be three in person. One would be accounting, one would be in accounting, bookkeeping, and internal control, which is needed. Um, Board development would be in person, and then event planning and special events would also be in person. So the rest of us would be, whether it was marketing, my legal policies, and there was another one. Oh my God, leadership would be via Zoom just because of locale. I never heard back from them. It's been over a year.
Oh, good grief.
And I do all their legal policies and stuff, which means now I got to send them that cease and desist of using those policies because they haven't updated those policies. And some of them are outdated.
Oh boy.
And I think to myself, so this is how you run your chamber? You can't even answer me? You asked me for this. I gave you the proposal, and then it's crickets. So, yeah, not
I
answering your email is not good.
I will have when I leave for vacation, I will have an away message on my
Yeah,
email.
yeah.
But I will be checking emails while I'm gone.
Of course
And
you do.
I forward anything that is important
Mhm,
to Kelly. But in my away message, it says if you need immediate assistance, contact Kelly.
mhm,
She can help you. I trust her to help you, basically. They've all been told
mhm.
you can go to Kelly. If she can't get you the answer, she can get a hold of me.
Yeah. I don't understand just out of sight, out of mind when you're the leader of an organization.
Yeah, I mean, it is, we need time off too, but I also know because of the job I'm in, because I'm in nonprofits, I need to check my emails.
Yeah, you do. Because something catastrophic could happen to one of your businesses. And there may be something you
which
can
we
do
did
to
have.
assist.
We had
Oh,
we
tell me
had a
about it.
horrible instance happen last week. A We had someone who attacked a delivery driver in the wee hours of the morning as they were delivering, ended up murdering the delivery driver.
Oh my God.
Another company came that does outside work on the building. They were attacked and wrestled the attacker to the ground. The police were called. This business is still closed. It's been almost a week.
Oh
They are
Lord.
still shut down because it's still a crime scene.
Sure, sure.
And we're like, we need to, when they open, we need to go there in droves. We need to, because their entire staff is without pay right now.
Oh, ouch.
They're without income coming in. Now, I'm hoping that their corporate structure is helping in some way. But, we put out the GoFundMe that was set up for the young man who was attacked and wrestled because they ended up airlifting him to the hospital and he's fine. He's home now. But he basically saved a lot of lives because if they had not been there that morning, it would have been young staff coming in to
Oh,
open up the place. And there could have been more.
mm. The hell is the matter with people, Angie?
It was someone who was out of their mind. It
Mm.
was, it happens. We've had a business open, and 2 months later, the owner was killed in a freak car accident. We've had heart attacks. We've had those things happen. I was at my daughter's wedding 9, 10 years ago, and it was our big community festival. And I tell my kids, there are only a few weekends you can't plan things.
Yeah.
Well, she wanted a June wedding, and that was Prairie Fest. And that was the only date they had. So, my staff handled it. We were fine. But I get text message the morning of a phone call the morning of the wedding, and I'm getting my hair done. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? I answered it because I'm just sitting there getting my hair done. And they're like, are you at your daughter's wedding? Yeah. And they're like, oh, never mind. I'm like, what do you need? I'm just sitting here getting my hair done. I can talk. No, no, no. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We'll talk to you when you get back. And I'm like,
Everything's
something's
not
going
fine. Yeah.
something's going on. But things got busy, went on with the wedding. 2 days later, Monday morning, we're, packing up our stuff and getting ready to head home. And I get a phone call from one of my board members. And I sit down. She goes, hey, how was the wedding? And she's chit chatting at me. And I'm like, oh, everything's good, good, good. Everything was wonderful. She goes, well, I just want to let you know I'm not going to be around for a little while. I'm like, oh, are you okay? She goes, no, I kind of died at Prairie Fest. I went, excuse me? She had a massive heart incident and went down at the festival. And they had to administer CPR and the defibrillators, and they ended up putting a pacemaker in her. But if it would not have been for a cardiac care nurse actually leaving at that moment, who saw her go down and assisted the ambulance drivers and everything, the poor cardiac care nurse, when she left, they had put her in the hospital, and she thought she was watching the paper all weekend, thinking she was going to see, someone dies at Prairie Fest. But my friend survived. My husband said I went ghost white,
I'll bet.
but they had made a pact to not call me, not tell me, because they didn't want to ruin my daughter's wedding.
Aw, nice.
But everybody in the town handled it. Everybody banded together. We helped her out. We gave an award and honored that person. This young man who wrestled this guy to the ground is going to be honored by the village and the chamber for being a hero. So we honor the successes. We honor and it's not just because they're a great business person. We honor them when they do something really good in the community.
Well, it should be that way. I think we need to do more of that. For some reason, we got away from doing some of that, and I think it's really important to do that. I mean, heroes come in all shapes and sizes. My God, dogs are heroes, right?
Yep.
They save drowning children, you're a cat person, and I saw I like reels on YouTube. The little
Mm-hmm.
reels. And when you've had a busy day of doing bylaws, restructuring, or training or whatever, I'm just like, I need stupid reels. I need no brainer, whatever. And I, I saw one, and if I find it again, I got to send it to you because you're a cat girl. This cat, the little kid opened the door when he shouldn't have opened the door, and this cat like was jumping on him to smack him down until the mother came and got him. I mean, it's like the cat was like, no, trying to
Yeah.
keep the little kid. I think the kid was like two, and it was like, oh, Kitty saved him. I mean, it was just so cute. And so people say, well, it's just dogs that do that. I go, no, no, no.
No,
All animals will do that.
cats are very comfort animals. They know when I've had a bad day. It's like they sense it. I mean, they are. My one cat is like, he is sitting on my lap, purring, headbutting me, cuddling. He knows when I've had a bad day.
Yeah, he's like, Mommy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mommy, I'm really sorry. I have a girlfriend, Linda, that just got a kitten, and the cat likes to sleep on her head.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's great, but your visitors aren't going to think that's cute. So it's like cat on your head all the time.
Yeah, the cats unfortunately have to sleep in the basement because they would sleep on my husband's head at night.
Right, and we can't have that. We're
And
allergic.
he can't have that.
No.
He tolerates, he's fine as long as he doesn't like pet him and then rub his eyes because
Yes,
we've
yes.
had cats for 45 years.
It's when
So,
they dander. It's when they get excited and dander. I'm allergic to
yeah.
the dander. My grandparents were farmers, so I grew up with cats. And my mother said, we realized how allergic you were because I'd pick you up from a weekend and your eyes were almost swollen shut,
Oh,
because I'm thinking I'm petting all the cute kittens, right? And the
yep.
horses, the goats, and the bull, and the whatever, the dogs. And figured out it was cats pretty early on, and I think I gave that to our son too. I think he has that. Although he gave me an iodine allergy after I had him, after I gave birth to him. I can't have lobster anymore.
Oh, no.
Rotten kid. So
No,
anyway, we've got this story is unfolding in Minneapolis. I can
have to
see.
look that up.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to find. It's the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce, a pretty big entity. And I just want people to know, no, not all chamber people are like this.
They are not.
They are not. There's some frauds out there, but there's frauds in every segment of the society.
There have been PTA people who have embezzled from PTA. It happens everywhere. That's why you set up good accounting practice. My accountant won't do our taxes if I don't have all the bank statements balanced. My accountant looks at our books every quarter to do payroll taxes. I have our events. When I give the board my financials for every month, it doesn't just say golf outing income, golf outing expenses. It is detailed down to what came in for sponsorships, what came in as registrations, what came in as 50/50, what went out for printing, what went out for rental of anything. It's so detailed. My report is long. And I'm doing that with another non-for-profit that I'm in on a board for, because the first meeting I was at, I was like, I'm not voting for these financials. No, 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 not going to happen.
Mhm.
So now it is very, very detailed. You should be able to look at the financials and say, okay, they did a business expo. They brought in this amount of money from all of these different categories. They spent this amount of money in these categories, and here's their net. You shouldn't have to look on page 1 for income and go to page 5 for expenses and have to do the math in your head.
No, well, no, because there's not enough board people that understand that, and they don't understand accrual.
Yeah, it's amazing how many board business people cannot read financial statements.
I don't understand either, but
Like,
we see that a lot.
but I do mine differently than, like, I don't know. It's mine's just so detailed, but like this other nonprofit, all the income were the first few pages and all the expenses were. No, it needs to be by event, or it needs
Yeah.
to be by category.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, it's exculpatory expenses that are coming in that some people don't even realize you have for an event.
yeah,
You don't, some people don't understand that, yeah, I have postage involved with this. I did a mailing, whether it's postcards, save the date, or whatever, because not everybody reads your newsletters, not everybody reads your emails. Some people still like that, hard copy
yeah.
card. in their face. They like that. They'll pin it up on their board or they'll write it down because some people need that visual piece.
Remind them that, hey, I got to register for this.
Yeah.
Or especially, we get so many emails nowadays.
Mhm.
We're inundated with emails. Email has become the, oh, I didn't see the email, is kind of like saying I put the check in the mail.
Yeah. I
Mm.
didn't see you called me. Right.
So
Oh, so the other disturbing trend, and this will be the last thing I bug you for. I know you're a very busy gal, and I think so much time for your help. And I'm sure this isn't the last time I'm going to say, Angie, I need you on again. And you're always so kind and go, okay, even though she doesn't know what she's doing on her end with technology. Not really. That's not
yeah,
my forte.
today,
Uh, I'm always happy when I can get the computer to turn on in the morning. Yay, power. Um, the other thing that has me concerned is um, chambers losing their way and either merging, which I like. I like when small chambers merge.
mm-hmm.
They forget that they have to have their members vote on the merge. And I'm like, no, you got, and that's when it goes down. There's Southern Illinois Chamber that's tried it like 3 times to merge with another one. But they're not doing enough public meetings about it, not enough information's going out, that we're not going to lose our identity. We're just merging resources, whether it's financial or people.
Right.
They don't understand that. And when I try to tell them how to do it, I say, well, one of you has to dissolve. Well, no, you don't. I go, yeah, you do. Grundy County Chamber did it with the
Yeah.
Manuka Chamber. And Caroline Portlock led them through that brilliantly because that's, what Carolyn can do. But that you have to dissolve one in order to create this mega. They don't listen. Sometimes they don't listen to me. Oh my gosh, I think I lost Angie. I lost Angie. Wait, I'll get her back.
Yeah, no, that was totally me.
Okay, I got Angie back, and this time it wasn't my fault. It was on
Nope,
her head.
totally mine.
But I think it's just going to happen every time. We're just going to punt and kick with it, Angie. So thank you for coming back. The last thing is, I'm seeing in the 70s, cities started creating their own economic development departments because chambers actually started economic development
Yes.
years ago. It was
Yes.
always the chamber that did it because we work with business, right? And it made
Yes.
sense. Okay. Now I'm seeing cities taking it back because there's
Yep.
money involved with this, and we can whatever. But now they're putting pressure back on the chambers to either close their doors or to make a blended merge of some kind that is actually raping the whole idea of the true meaning of a chamber of commerce.
Correct.
And there's a couple in Illinois, but there's more outside of Illinois because I've helped nonprofits merge. I've helped them dissolve, unfortunately. I've helped econ start different types of organizations based under an umbrella, tourism, economic development, chamber of commerce, because it all seems to fit really well together and it's always an umbrella. It's who runs the umbrella.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't have the right person running this umbrella, and why I'm sitting like this, I don't know. That could be the problem. Do you think, in your opinion, and we won't talk about places or people, you and I could have a lot of fun doing that, but then I'd be kicked off YouTube. Um, that this is a good idea that we're going back to an umbrella force, especially when you might have three small entities that still matter to the communities in which they serve, that they can umbrella themselves into a bigger entity, maybe to attract more business, more people, more funding. What's your opinion on that, being a vested Chamber of Commerce president?
That is a really hard one because we're in a really good situation because we used to have a public private partnership.
Right,
So our village funded a huge part of economic development, but then businesses paid into it.
right.
And depending on your level, you got a seat on the board. And it did amazing things for Oswego. It
Okay.
was amazing. I mean, we got all the big names, the Home Depot, the Kohl's, the Target. It was amazing.
I love Oswego.
And they worked, the chamber had a seat on the board. And we got some of the proceeds from the community guide that they printed. It was a good working relationship. Well, then, you know how it is with communities. You get a new mayor or village president, whatever the title is, and they decided they no longer wanted to fund economic development. So they defunded it, which means it could not stand. It could not exist. And they brought economic development in-house. And it was a transition. And we've had an economic development director that I could not work with, was a nightmare. The good news about them defunding is then the chamber got to go do the community guide. And we've gotten more higher level members, elite members, as we call them. So financially, that was a really good thing for the chamber. And other than that one economic development director, we've had an amazing relationship. And we have a great relationship with our economic development director. He includes me I'm on the Economic Development Commission. I'm a non-voting member, but that's totally fine. I don't want to vote because if they vote for something that I don't agree with or might not be good for a member, say a member goes in for a grant, I'm not voting yes or no, you don't get the grant.
Right, right.
But he includes me on emails to new businesses. I get to go on retention visits with him. He's constantly promoting the chamber. He's a huge supporter of the chamber. Our village is a huge supporter. Our administrator sits on our board. So, and while I could do economic development, it's not my specialty. I would rather focus on promoting the businesses once they get here. And as far as tourism, we've got a regional tourism organization up here. I would like to see them do more for Oswego. And I've told them that point blank. I don't think they were very happy with me a couple months ago when I kind of, well, we did, and I'm like, I'm going to tell you something. That festival doesn't do anything for Oswego. Yes, it's in Oswego, but it doesn't help our businesses. In fact, it's crickets downtown.
Yeah, well, you know.
So I don't know if he liked that information. I don't know if he appreciated but anybody who knows me knows I will tell you like it is, whether you like it or not.
You're a strong proponent for your members, period. That's what.
And I don't mince my words sometimes.
Mhm. Should we?
No,
I
people
mean,
tell me, and the worst thing you can tell me is calm down.
oh, you don't tell a type A to calm down. We
And,
don't know. You
but,
know what?
that's
Stop
why I
doing
have
it.
the name of Pitbull.
Stop telling women to calm down because
So,
that's like trying to baptize a damn cat.
yeah.
It's just
Somebody called me a chihuahua. I said, I am not a chihuahua. I am a pit bull. Chihuahua is an ankle biter. I said, I'm going to get you where it counts.
yeah. Well, what? That's why you've done so well, Angie. I mean, you've grown that chamber, and you fight for your members, and you do what you have to do. We have
Mm-hmm.
to get back to our chamber leaders doing that instead of ripping them off in every way possible. And I don't understand embezzlement. I would be a terrible embezzler and a terrible drug addict because I'd be asleep all the time or scared all the time because I have no idea how to do it.
Yeah.
And I said to my husband, how the hell do you embezzle? And he goes,
I don't know. Somebody's not looking at your book. So I guess my answer on that is depends on each community
it
and who the
does.
leaders are.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it
And,
really does. And I keep getting calls about a specific entity, and I just do this. When you've worked with an organization and you poured yourself into that organization, and then they take the easy way out, that pisses me off every time.
yeah.
And you don't do that. And That's why you're so highly respected in what you do. And I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass because I think you know me better than that.
Yeah. No, it's I give back. Sometimes I give back too much.
Yes, I
I
know.
need to be on there.
So when I hear you're getting away for a couple days, I get excited for you.
Okay.
So is there anything else you think people need to know about chambers right now before I let you go on your very busy day?
Don't judge a chamber by another chamber you've had a bad experience with. Do your research. If you're thinking about joining a chamber and you're in an area where there are several in the area, um, go to a couple of events. We always allow non-members to come to two events, two of our free events, our coffees, our after hours. After that, then you need to either join or not continue to attend.
Yeah, because they already understand. If they
And
keep
some,
coming back, they already like it.
yeah, come in and talk with our staff.
Mhm.
Come in and talk. Learn more about the chamber. Um, and every chamber has a different feel. So just because this one is, because there are some chambers that are more about the politics,
Yeah.
you know, I am so not political. I hate politics. Other chambers are more about advocation. Others are more about doing, some are just only focused on doing events in the community. So look at the different chambers, decide what you want to get out of the chamber, but also understand it's not just about going to events, you
Right.
know, or going to things. Some people say, well, I'm not going to renew my membership because I couldn't attend anything. Here's what else the chamber has done for you.
Mhm.
So, try to attend an event every month, at least one. If you can't,
Exactly.
every other month,
Mhm.
extreme minimum every other month.
Well, and that's why chambers like yours have things at different times
Yeah.
because different it matters. Do you have children you're trying to get ready for school or homework after school? So then maybe a lunch hour would be better for them. I mean,
Yeah.
you try to juggle because you're a mom and a CEO, so you understand that not everybody can go at a meeting at 7:30 in the morning. They got kids to get to school.
Right.
And not everyone can do it because little Bobby and Billy are, they go to the Y after, for basketball or whatever. I mean,
Yep.
so, and you want to encourage them to do that. And that's why we have events at different times. You can't please everybody.
Right.
You're not chocolate. You try real hard,
Right.
but you're not chocolate.
Not chocolate.
Well, Angie, I got to tell you, the name of my show might be nonprofit maintenance, but it has everything to do with learning from leaders like you. And chambers are still so, so important to our communities when they're run right. In fact, down here, I'm at our house in Mississippi right now, and the leader of the Mississippi One Coast is actually retiring, Adele Lyons.
Okay.
It's a five-star accredited organization. They take Waveland, Bay St. Louis, past Christian, Long Beach, Gulfport, Biloxi, Ocean Springs, and they've put it into one.
Oh, wow.
And then each one has their own satellite office that helps their own communities. It's
Okay.
it's a brilliant piece of work, and I love the model. And I really, even though you don't want it, would love to see Oswego do that because um,
We tried to merge with one of our locals. We got turned down soundly.
well, it's not just merging, it's expanding. And
Yeah.
you are a regional force without the regional name. And there is a difference. And someday I'll go through what that is because I've taken several chambers to a regional level. It requires a different kind of excellence. And you're already doing that. So I will let you go for today as long as you promise to come back another day because there'll be
I
more
will.
on. And if you want to follow Oswego Chamber, Oswego Area Chamber, I'll put a link in here so that you can follow the Oswego Area Chamber. And you can join Angie's Chamber from anywhere in the continental United States. There's no law that says you can't. If you're looking for customers or business in that area, if you're looking to relocate, say you're in Elgin, you can still join the Oswego
Yeah.
Area Chamber of Commerce. There's no law because they're not a taxable unit of government. They do not get any kind of tax. Unlike some chambers that have the head and bed tax, which I understand, some chambers have the tourism entity, but then that has to go because there's reporting that has to be done at the state level of Department of Revenue for that tax dollar used. The chambers don't do that. So until the next time, Angie, I want to thank you. Again, this is Angie Hibben, IOM, the president and CEO of the Oswego Area Chamber of Commerce in Oswego, Illinois, one of the best leaders that we have right now in our field. And for that, I thank you.
Thank you.